one day, I woke up in the morning and we got dressed and she looked at me, and I hadn't really seen her in a while because I was doing my own thing and she was doing hers. And she said, you know, you should come to church with us today because I haven't seen you, and it'd be great if, you know, we could talk on the way up. And I said, you know, I don't have anything I'm doing today. I was 20 years old and I thought, yeah, okay, I'll get dressed and we'll go to church today. We decided we'd go have lunch at Fur's on 2nd Street after. We got in the truck and we were coming home, and we came through Isleta in front of the casino. And just as we were passing a little ways past the casino, the only thing that I can remember from that point in time is a car coming at us. And they hit us head on. And my mom, her head went through the windshield and they took her. I was told afterwards, because I don't remember any of it, but I was told that she went in the helicopter to the hospital. And then I was taken by ambulance, and I just remember her screaming because they took us into the same room at that point, and that's what I remember from the last day. And she died that day. And I became the owner of a restaurant that I didn't want anything to do with. And after that day, it became the most precious thing in my life. I stayed working at my other job for about a year because I was having a hard time accepting my new lot in life, but I came to terms with everything that happened, and I decided that was going to be what I did. I had already grown up there. I already knew how to run everything from day to day. I'd helped her every moment that I was available, and I knew what I was doing, so I decided to go from there. And it's been an adventure since then, for sure. Because during all of that time, I thought, well, I can't just, I'm going to be the burrito lady now, but I've got to have my horses too. So the horses little by little grew. As long as the restaurant was doing well, I was able to pursue that passion probably in a way that I wouldn't have been able to if she hadn't left me the way that she did. When I was tiny, my grandpa was a horse person, and he was out with his horses every day, and I learned to love them. I think it's part of my blood, just part of my DNA somewhere it came through, and my mom knew that that was what I wanted more than anything in the world, and she had a little bit of extra money, and she told me that if I could find a horse for $150, which was supposed to be an impossible task, but she underestimated the power of a 12-year-old girl. And I found a horse that next weekend in the newspaper that was advertised at exactly $150. So we brought him home. She held her promise, and we didn't have a place for him. We didn't have anything, but we made do. She was a resourceful person. She was always a hard worker. She never backed down. She was a very, very strong lady. She made tortillas. She loved making tortillas at home, rolling them out with a rolling pin and making them from scratch. And she decided she wanted to have a healthier tortilla than just a white tortilla. So she decided she was going to invent a recipe to make a multi-grain tortilla. She really enjoyed making these, and she thought, other people would like this. And I think this is something that I can do because I can do it at my own pace. And she started making her tortillas, and she did everything that she could to sell them. She carried them to every grocery store she could drive to and asked if people would sell them for her. And we made hundreds and hundreds of them, but it just, as it turned out, we couldn't make them for a price that was profitable. She'd actually made a trip to Mexico, and on the side of the road there, she found some guy with a little table selling food. And he just was putting it into a tortilla. Whatever you'd want, he'd put it in there, and off you go, just on the side of the road. And she thought, hey, maybe that's what I can do with the tortillas. I could put some food inside of them, and then we can go from there. So that's what she came home, and she said, let's try this. So she started making a little something in the kitchen. Everybody would just stop by, She'd say, here, try this. And they'd go out, and then the next day they'd come back and they'd bring someone else with them. And that's kind of how it started working. And then she realized, wait a minute, I need a way to start making a little bit more food and putting it, in a certain way. And she kind of grew from the very most basic She was just working so hard. She just put her entire heart and soul into trying to make this work. And from there, things started growing and people really loved the food and started coming back. And it took about 7 years of working like that, just day to day, before she finally saw the light at the end of the tunnel, where she actually started making a profit and we had a house and a little bit more of a normal life. She just had the most simple menu. Everything that she had is still there, with just a couple of additions. We're mostly the same as we've been for 25 years. It's been a lot of learning, a lot of hardships, a lot of wonderful things, and at this point, I look back and a lot of appreciation for everything my mama did. And as the years have gone on, I've come across some amazing people that work for me. I have Bernadette and I have Rita, who have both been with me more than 16 years. And without those two ladies, Burritos al Instante wouldn't be what it is today. They have invested their heart and souls in helping me do what I do with these restaurants.
We're family. We've been here a long time. To know somebody for 16 years, there has to be something that keeps you here. She's the type of person that appreciates her employees. She's there for us no matter what, ups and downs. We work hard for her, but she shows me how much she appreciates me.
I've known Mary Ellen since she was little, and it's like family. It's not just coming in, doing a job and leaving, and actually getting to know each other and knowing that we are growing as a team. We are working together, we are now listening to each other, and everybody in our team has a voice.
The important things for me in the restaurant are keeping things authentic. We are a New Mexican restaurant. People come in and say, oh, it's a Mexican restaurant. No, we're not a Mexican restaurant. We are specifically a New Mexican restaurant. I take pride in that. I love our culture and history here in New Mexico, and it's part of my fabric growing up here. And I find that very, very precious.
What it is, it's home-cooked food. It's a home-cooked meal. And people love that home cooking. Just like Grandma used to make or Mama used to make. We still serve that.
The important things for me, to have homemade food and to have the New Mexico history and culture and be loyal to that.
We've always tried to have the best possible service that we can for each customer. Homemade style, the way it's been since we started, it's consistent and it will always be good.
One of the most important things is a big smile when somebody walks in. You know, people have to feel welcome. We have customers that come in sometimes twice a day. And your local New Mexican that grew up in the area, we're soul food. It's what our grandmas made in their kitchens, and that's what we want to be. And we find that very often that's true. You know, people come in, they say, you know, this tastes just like my grandmother's, which is the highest compliment that anybody can give me. There's nothing better than that.
We have more than just getting the burrito out the door. Customers come here because they want to talk to us. This is their home.
Our main goal is to make the best burrito ever for every single customer. You have to have that art in you to roll the best burrito ever.
Honestly, whenever we have a customer come in and they'll order some food and then they'll go eat it and they'll come back and they'll tell us how good it was and it is the best meal they've had in their whole life. That's what makes a whole day worth it.
For me, I want it to grow and I want to grow it. So I hope that in the next 10 years, we have 10 more locations that I'm able to open around New Mexico and who knows, maybe outside of it.
For years, we've been proud to serve our communities, offering the authentic taste of New Mexico. Hand-rolled burritos, house-made carne lavada, and chile grown under the Mexican sun. But as demand grew, we saw an opportunity to share our flavors beyond our own kitchens. That's why we launched Sazón New Mexico, a wholesale venture dedicated to bringing our signature red and green chile, carne lavada, and more to restaurants and kitchens far and wide. We're taking the same ingredients, the same recipes, and the same passion, and making them available to those who share our love for bold, authentic flavors. Now, we're making it easier than ever for restaurants and food service providers to bring the unique taste of New Mexico to their customers. From our kitchen to yours, we're keeping the tradition alive, one plate at a time. Burritos al Instante and Sazón New Mexico, rooted in tradition, crafted with passion, and made to be shared.
This is
my first and only job that I ever had. So I was basically born and raised here with the Real Estante family, and now we're growing to our Sazón company. Sazón has multiple meanings, but basically on what we do here, it means the flavor you put into the food that you cook. For us, it's basically authentic and traditional, especially here in New Mexico. The future of Sazón, hopefully we can take it to different states, and why not to take it to different countries.